Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings, people, and welcome to the Super Conscious Outlet. Thank everyone for calling in and joining me and my co-host. I'm your host, Roderick Jarrow, also known as Roddy Ray. Today, people, we're really going to go in on the first step to becoming awake. And it's a lot of talk right now out there on Facebook and other places about consciousness, and we're going to go break it down for those that need it. And even those that are already conscious, we're going to go over some topics today on how this process really begins. But first, let me introduce my co-host. If she's ready, Miss Koshana Quayle Jones.
Peace, family. Hep hep hoo, everyone. I am ready tonight to really open up some consciousness and take everyone to that next stage of life.
Okay, Koshana, go ahead and give some shots out to our sponsors, and let's get this thing on the way here. Let's let them know what it's about.
Perfect. All right. First tonight, family, we want to shout out Universal Radio at facebook.com/universalradio2. Also, Brother God Amin Ra Darby, who is an author of children's book. His latest children's book was Swasi Baka, and he has a new release called Cultivated Mentality. Purchase them at aminradarby.com or amazon.com. Also available on ebook. We'd also like to give an amazing shout-out to Blacks Be Like. You can find them on facebook.com/blacksbelike1. And also, Brother God David Owens, he has a Reshape the People workout and meal plan. You can call this brother at 310-438-0154. Once again, that's 310-438-0154, or email at dthings126@AOL.com. And we'd also like to shout out My Sister's Keeper. You can find them at facebook.com/My Sister's Keeper. And last but not least, also Craft Unity Center, located at 7825 South Western Avenue. This is a center of African spiritual science. You can go there and get your spiritual food and learn how to read the Madu. They're located, once again, at 7825 Southwestern Avenue, Los Angeles, California.
All right. So let's get it going on, people. I mean, first of all, thank you for calling in. You also can listen to us. All shows are archived, so you'll be able to listen to us via the web as well. And we will be giving you all of the information on where you can find us, what we're about, Blacks Be Like, My Sister's Keeper. We'll be repeating those again for you, and then, like I stated, everything will be archived. So as we get going, Koshana, let's just let them know, like, the steps that we've taken and the things that we have done to really become conscious. Let's just kind of relax and just go over some things and what we can do to becoming awake, or some people like the term enlightened. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I mean, like some of the things that I know for a fact, like every religion, it gives a message to stay enlightened, to seek, to become enlightened. And this, well, I want to just, point out, this is not a religion. You know what I mean? There's really no special virtues to acquire. This is just simply remaining conscious, and it's the practice of kind of prolonging our consciousness, and it's the state, it may not give us power to control the material world, but it will, however, give us power to absolutely free ourselves from suffering due to the clinging to things and the material world. I mean, being enlightened is not a special state of mind, but it's a mind and a heart's freedom from all things that are clinging, and it just rises your awareness. You know what I mean? It's just like, it really gives you this human experience without a notation of identity separate from around us. So we're going to get into some things like that, and just let them know.
Right.
You know?
I share, Brother Josh.
Yes.
For me, I think the first thing, you said it, awareness. Consciousness is awareness. Becoming aware, asking those questions. A lot of us start wondering, something's just not right with life. You see people get up every morning, they work, they go home, and they go to sleep, and they get up the next morning, they work, they go home, and they go to sleep, and they do that until they die. And there's an awareness that we're missing and that we're not being aware of. There's a lot going on in our world that we're not even seeing. So part of being conscious is really just being aware. Being aware of your life and asking those questions. Looking around, wow, we have a moon, a sun. We have more than just go to job, get paid, pay your bills, and go to sleep. So for me, the first key is to become aware of your environment, what's around you. And I like how you stated it earlier, not a religion. It's not a religion. It is you. It is being yourself. It is tapping into the inner you. You are the literal temple. You don't have a building to go to. There's no specific book that will save you, This is a part of waking up to your true self, your true identity. So taking those few steps, just becoming aware of your life, becoming aware of what's around you, paying attention to things, not just moving through life on a hamster wheel, just going to sleep and coming home and paying your bills, So those are the first key steps to me to awakening to your higher self.
I totally agree. I mean, the thing about it is, for so long, we haven't been aware. People have made, millions of dollars off of this very topic, telling you that it's a secret, and it's not really, it never has been, and it never was intended to be a secret. But what happens with people, we some people succumb to materialism, and they become greedy, and they want to control you with power. So it's just like, if I know how something functions and I keep it from you, and I know that it's not even that it's science, it's proven factually that it works, and it's been around for centuries, and I keep it from you, that gives me a power over you. So now you're going to look up to me. Now you're going to praise me. You're going to, you're going to worship me. You're going to go into these temples and these places. And, there's a term that there's always been throughout the history of us as a people. And what I mean by a people, all human beings.
Right.
There's a word, and it's called shaman. So, it's SHAMAN. And a shaman is someone who is really, really went into a meditative state and made that connection with him or her higher self. And this is where we really, really delve into the spirit realm. When we reach our higher self, we become enlightened. And it's a whole path to enlightenment. So you just don't go from one day, okay, then you read Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, and now the next day you are enlightened. That's
right.
It's that simple. A lot of people will quote, Deepak Chopra, and there's a list of names that I can give you, and I will give you some names. Those that are interested, you can also contact me. I'm on Facebook, and it's really about improving people in general. It's about, knowing that if you know a certain thing, you won't allow yourself to be conditioned or to be, less than. And it's not about competition. We all have healthy competitions when we play a game of chess or when we go shoot basketball. Those are things we do on a competitive level that just either exercises our mind or our physical body.
Right.
This right here, knowledge, is only truly knowledge when it's shared. And the thing about it, the reason that I decided to do a show and have you, Koshana, as a co-host is because people need to hear the truth from plain, simple, everyday people that are living but are applying these tools and end up living very productive lives. You know what I mean?
Right.
Free from stress, free from sickness. I mean, so many people, you know, even on, you know, Facebook, that, I'm having these headaches, this, and that. But then you're not paying attention to other things. So we're just going to go into some of the first steps, you know what I mean? Like, what can you do? You know, because many people feel like they have to suffer in order to gain liberation, you know what I mean? So what I mean by that, they feel like, before I can do better, I have to do bad. And that's just not the truth. That's just not the truth. I mean, the whole key and the reason for becoming conscious is to expand. I mean, to expand your mind. And you start to look at things beyond this realm, beyond this reality. You start to reconnect to who you truly are. And that is the spirit. And most people, you know, they get so hung up on the physicalness and the physical body that they just simply forget the spirit. You know what I mean? They just don't even mention that. And I just want to note, too, that there's a difference between spirituality and consciousness. Although they go together, they tie in, but when you seek spirituality, you can do that in many different forms. Some people choose to do it through religion. Some people choose to do it through rituals. But when you seek consciousness, and you want to share. You want to tell people, hey, listen, you don't have to put yourself through that. You don't have to be sick. You don't have to suffer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's pretty much where we're going to go tonight. So, you know.
And you realize, like you said, when you have consciousness, it's not about joining my church or joining my religious organization or any organization I have. It's just about waking people up to see their own inner strength, their own abilities, what they have the power to do. This is an amazing experience here on this ball. We have magic all around us, and that's where the awareness comes in. When you can sit out and look at the sun and look at the stars and look at the moon and know that you're a part of that. Know that it's not only outside of you, but it's a part of what's inside of you. And when you have consciousness, like you said, it's not necessarily a spirituality, even though we are spiritual beings. We all recognize our spirituality, but it's something that you just want everyone to have. And I think I like what you said earlier about the materialistic side of it, which is unfortunate when a lot of people are searching and they're seeking. You know, you find different things that are like, you can get a new car and you can get a brand new house. That's nice. I'm not saying that you don't want a car and a house, but what would it be like to elevate our world? What would it be like to look out and see people who were once homeless know now that they can create what they want in their life? So you want to give it out for free. You want to pass it around. There's no dollar amount for this. This is something that you tap in within yourself. This is not something I can charge you for. This is something that I can only direct you back to your source, back to who you are. So I totally agree with that. I don't believe in I took consciousness for me when I started to awake. The first thing I thought of was, wow, what could this do for people? What could this do for our people? How could this help our people? Not necessarily, okay, I'm going to get a new house. And not saying that I couldn't manifest those things or a car or things like that, but the first thing I thought of was, how could this help people on this earth that are not aware that their thoughts are creating their reality? They're not aware that what they're thinking and what they're feeling and what they're speaking. You know, how simple it is once you realize, wow, I've had the power all along to create what I've desired myself. I didn't have to go to a shaman, like you said. I didn't have to look outside myself. And I'm not discrediting shamans or whoever you look at as a spiritual leader, but you have that power within yourself. And I agree 100% with you. It is something that you want to just pass out when you get it. When you get it, you just want to see everyone see it too. You want them to believe in it and know that it's real. And like you said, we're average, ordinary people who have tapped into our own knowing within our own being. And it has shifted our entire reality.
And on that note, let me just interject real quickly here. And the reason why I say that is because this is why when I say things, in my post or in my personal life, these are things that I can prove. How can I prove them? Because I do them. I see the result. There's nothing outside of me. There's no outside force. There's no Jesus. There's no God. There's no Allah or Hare Krishna or whoever you want to say. And I'm not downplaying anyone's religions, people. Let's just keep whatever you need to do, then you do. But I just had enough common sense that when I felt lost, I had enough sense to ask for direction. Some people are going around and round and round and block, and they have too much pride or too much ego to ask for direction. This is why people come here. And I tell people all the time, if you have a question, ask the question. If I can't answer it, I'll direct you to someone who can. If they can't answer it, they will direct you to someone who can. Because everything we need to know is instilled inevitably through our DNA, through our creation, is in us. So the biggest and the most in-depth journey one can take is simply going inside of self. You know what I mean? You see my posts sometimes, I come a little repetitive and, but the thing is because when you start to understand the importance of seeking self and you start to realize that you don't have to be sick, you don't have to be held in bondage, you don't have to be worrying. I mean, these things is clear. Understand, people, as spirit beings, we came here to enjoy. So we didn't come here to get attached to physical materialism, things of this material world, because once we exit this realm, none of this stuff is going with us, Right. And we have a caller in the queue, but real quick, I want to just touch on this. I hear many people talk about the Trinity, and simply what the Trinity is, people, and I mean, you can look it up, you can do your research. As a matter of fact, I heavily advise that you do. You look this information up. Do not take my word for it. But I have nothing to gain from convincing you to believe me nor lying to you. I mean, there's no gain in it for me, because I am going to do what I came here to do, and that is to make a pathway easier for those that come after me. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fulfill my purpose. And we all have a purpose to fulfill, but only you can define your purpose. No one can give you your purpose. There is no calling. There is a longing and a yearning inside of you that only you know about. You want to explain it. You want to share it with someone, but only you know that little voice. That's your higher self. And when we speak of the Trinity is simply the body, the mind, and the psyche.
And the spirit. Right.
And once you understand this, I mean, it's so easy. I mean, once you understand that inside of you is just nested and full of treasure and riches. I mean, it's so simple that some have made it so complicated in order to gain the very things that other people are tied down to. I mean, some of the people that I study truly live what I call a barefoot lifestyle. I mean, they walk out of their homes and the beach is their front yard. I mean, that's living at one with nature. So you understand that it's just a natural way. It's a path. It's balance. There's harmony, and you really want to get away from resistance. You know what I mean? You really have to have the desired path of knowledge, self-awareness, and you have to understand that this is a step-by-step process. So you're going to be, indulging yourself in studies that are going to involve, like, the natural as well as the mystical. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all these things have obvious reasons. You know what I mean? But let's take a first caller, and then we'll get back to the conversation. I think we have Brother Nasir in the queue.
Blessings, family. Hotel.
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm blessed. King. Blessings, Sister Queen.
Blessed.
Oh, hey, I'm just calling in. This is a beautiful topic. Just calling in and put my little 2 cents in. My little take on becoming conscious. First off, is being open. You have to be. If you're not open, then there's really no reason. You have to be open, first off. Second off is coming into knowing thyself.
Right.
And you coming into knowing thyself. And once you come into knowing thyself, then it's mastering thyself. You understand? Because after you master thyself, and you're conscious, and you will see the big picture, and you will see that you and I, us three on this call right now, that we are small particles of the big picture.
Yes.
It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about you, my fellow king. It's about us together. That's what being conscious is. And now you have, and once you be conscious, and now you have a lot of people who become or say they're conscious, but do the same things that is continuing to keep our. Now, how can you call yourself conscious when you are using and abusing your people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you can't be conscious once you look down, once you become conscious and know thyself, and then you look down your nose at your brother and sister. That's not conscious.
Right.
Yeah. Conscious is knowing thyself, because we all wrote our stories. We all wrote our stories to come here and cross paths with each other. It's already written. So you are a part of me. So I accept you for you. You understand?
Let me intervene, Nasir, before we go too far, because those are going to be topics, those very topics that you just mentioned, are what we're going to cover. Like right now, today, we just want to stay on point, and let me just tell you something, Brother King. You are totally correct, because there's only one consciousness. There's only one consciousness. You know what I mean? And so we have to understand that through the web of creation, we are all connected. It's our energy right now, whether we're conscious of it or not, that is empowering in the universe. We are the power, okay, that's empowering everything that we see before us as it is right now. But we're going to get into that in later shows, Brother Nasir. But, listen, I appreciate you calling so much, Brother God. I mean, really.
Right, powerful.
I appreciate you. And, very, very powerful, very, very on point. But right now, we just want to speak to the people and to get them into, because, there's some on your level. And that's the thing, people, when I say level, don't be offended by that word. We're all on different levels. I'm not saying I'm above or beneath anyone and no one, so it's not that kind of level. It's a level of understanding. It's a level of self-discipline. The brother helped me. I still struggle with some things, too. So I'm not going to talk to you from a point of, like, I'm a master, okay? Because in my realm, I'm a master of me and me only. I don't master or control anything outside of me. You know what I mean? But when I connect with other like minds, now we become more positive energy. So this is the whole thing. So we really appreciate your call, though, Nasir. I can't
appreciate
it, brother, how much I appreciate you.
Bless up, family. Bless up.
Listen, one of the things that he did point out about the oneness, that is so true, and about knowing thyself. But one of the main things for me, for the beginners, those who are just starting to get into this, are wondering what is this stuff they call consciousness. It starts when you start to ask the question. When you finally get to that place where life is just not making sense to you, where you're like, what in the world is going on? When that question starts to come into you, you start to get this feeling in your being that things are not adding up. For me, and real quick, I just want to touch on this. When I started asking questions, my thing was I couldn't understand why the world was so hard for black people. I really didn't understand it. So, and I was raised very religious. I was raised in a very religious background, Seventh-day Adventist religion, and I wanted to find God. And the first thing I wanted to do was ask God, why is it so hard? And I wanted to know, why was God hiding? You know, and I couldn't understand those two things. I think when you start to question, and we've all been taught, don't question God, but when you do start to make that question and you start to ask, that's when those start to come to you. One of the things that we've all been taught is you must seek to find. When you're complacent and you're just kind of letting things happen to you, you're not, it's good and bad things happen, trials and tribulations, and all that stuff. You let it all happen to you. You're not questioning, how is this happening to me? Why is this happening? Go ahead.
Allow me to interject, sister. The thing is that, just like you said, okay, first of all, we're indoctrinated against our choice. Think about it pre-religion. Just think about how free you were. Think about how, you didn't have fear. I mean, we learned from experience. We knew that if the curb is too high and I jump off the curb, I'm going to hurt myself. But naturally, we don't have any fear. So as boys especially, we're playing, we're riding bikes, we're doing things, we're playing football in the streets. I mean, all these different things. We're just experiencing life. So what happens is we become indoctrinated. And when you mention the word that, like, when it's taught to seek, but what we were never told was the seeking is within ourselves. So that's the main thing. We're never taught, look inside of yourself for the answers. So another thing, when you mentioned about, why was it so hard for black people? And what I'm going to tell you right now is a simple truth, and it's not from a superior race or anything, but we know, anybody with common sense, that you have to have something to start with, okay?
Right.
You have to have a start. So as the first people, we didn't know anything. We studied. We found out everything. And what happened was we just forgot, because we forgot all the things that we had knew. And now what this is a reawakening. So it's not a reawakening that we're going to come into and we're going to enslave people. We're going to show the world how it should have been done correctly through love, discipline, and there's going to be resistance. But when you know that if you are truly positive, you will repel negative. So it's understanding that the terminology changing the world, change your world. As each one changes their world, the world has no choice but to change, because the world is conducive to everything that we see or say it is. It can't argue. It can't deny anything that we do. That's the power we have as co-creators, being attached to that same the divine intelligence that created everything that we see and know as we do. But listen, let's take a caller right now. We got a caller, I think, in the queue right now with the last four of 4432.
Hello.
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 Hey guys.
Peace.
It's Ona O'Ray.
Hello. How are you?
O'Ray.
Are you there? Hello.
Got us? Oh, I think we may have lost her.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Call dropped. So hopefully she'll call back in, and then as soon as she calls back in, we'll bring her right back in. So until then, Kashana, let's keep on going and allow me to understand. And what happens with that is that we know what happened, and we know that a certain people came upon us, and people really, we're getting off topic, but just real quick, when we start talking about things that happen, and people look and they try to point the finger at one particular people, let's just make it real clear that when you speak, know what you're speaking on, and kind of know it in depth if you're going to speak from a teacher standpoint, because every single people has used us, including our own people. We've used each other. I mean, every race has used us in the form of slavery. There's been slaves. So understand that's just man in his lower form of thinking, and let's focus on the here and now. Let's focus on the here and now, because there's no amount of money, there's nothing no one can give us to pay for what our ancestors did. But what our ancestors did do is create people like myself. okay?
Right.
People like yourself, people like the brother that called in. This is what our ancestors did. So now it's up to us. So let's just, nip that in the bud right now. We're not going to go through any placing and blame people. When you come into consciousness, you know what I'm saying? No, and I'm not saying you were, Sister God. Sister God.
No.
I'm not saying that you were doing that by any level. But we're gonna look at this and we're gonna look and teach people how they can look, how they can think about things in their childhood. Because all of us that had children, as children, we question like, Mama, but that something about the church because I see the preacher doing this, but then I see him over there around the corner doing the stuff everybody else do. And doing it with a couple of women, that's, whatever, you know what I mean?
Right. That's why I say it starts with those questions and being comfortable with asking yourself those questions.
Right.
And when I first started asking the questions, the first thing I received from the higher self was open your eyes. And I told you I was looking for God everywhere. I was going to look in the Bible. I was going to look, and it said, open your eyes. And I looked around. That's the first time I realized I was on a ball in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden my awareness grew. And I'm like, whoa, this right here is real. This doesn't turn off. It doesn't turn on. It is just what is. This is my existence. So all this seeking for a God, and you live and breathe this experience all day long. It's up to you to tap into it. It's up to you to see it.
When you speak on those terms, our outer world, it's only symbolic of what's going on in our inner world.
In the inner world, I say.
In our inner world of thought, emotion, individuality. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And as well as the masses, So, we have to come to a point where we start to place significance on the events in our life, But like you said, most people get up and we're living this mediocre life where it's just, blase, go to work, go home, go to work, go home. Like that old commercial, commercial. Same thing, same place, same team, same place. That's pretty much how it went. But listen, we have another caller right now, and we're going to take this caller. So caller with the last 4 of 1004. Go ahead, join the air with Superconscious Outlet.
Hello, my name is Carlotta.
Peace.
Hello, Carlotta. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually, talked to several people about consciousness, and at the time, just going through the monotony of things, you just want to stay on the wheel and just keep on doing things as far as, your daily life brings you. But, like the sister said, when you start asking questions about why this and why that, you really don't know that there's other people out there that you can talk to, or that come into consciousness. You don't know who to ask. You don't know who to go to. And I always believe that when the student is ready, the teacher will show itself, or that situation as we mature and get older. But I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Carlotta. You know what? That's exactly the purpose of why I chose to do a show in this format. Hopefully, this show will grow. I'm not looking for fame or fortune or anything. I'm looking to reach like minds, because when you get to a certain awareness and you start to retract and you start to play back, in your mind, all these thoughts and beliefs that you had, all these dreams and visions that people laughed at you and told you it couldn't happen. Well, here I am today, some 37 years later, after wanting to inform people and talk. When I was a child, I couldn't articulate as well. I knew I had a message, and at the same time, I would get it over indoctrinated with religion. So much so at one point I was studying to be a minister, and it was a problem because I told people, the Bible is a good book, but most people make the biggest mistake that they make in their lives, and they take it to have literal meaning. When I start really researching and digging down, and I found out that it was just metaphorical parables and idioms, it really was a life-changing experience. So I don't have any problem with everything, because once you start to, look and you do your research and you study different things, you're going to notice that everything is taken from this one consciousness. So I mean, you know, I appreciate you for calling in and calling out. And this is the reason that we're here. And I want you to go ahead and finish, but we do have another caller in the queue. So go ahead and finish your statement, and feel free to always call in, call back. And again, thank you so much, because just the fact that you called in is letting me know that we reached one person today, if nothing else, two already.
But I was going somewhere with that too.
Go ahead.
And as far as the Bible and, you know, studying, I was on my way to, my next thought was to get a Quran, because there was no stopping the education when it just came to the Bible, and just to, you know, agree with what you said about the parables, and some of the times didn't add up, and then you get other doctrines that, you know, don't justify what one book says, you know.
Right.
Then to start going into the other education. But, you know, that was one point. Then another point was also that when you say, you know, we were used by, you know, other races of people, you know, how do you come back from that? You know, that was one question I always had, didn't know who to ask it, and just wanted to get
you want my opinion? Okay, how do you come back from that? Because you look at where you are now. You look at right now, with having knowledge that you know, what can stop you? What can stop you? What can stop Carlotta from accomplishing whatever she wants to accomplish? I mean, even bringing other like minds into her existence and just manifesting, creating, and living and enjoying the life. You know what I mean? So it's not that I want you to forget or sweep it under the rug, because it's very important to know your history. Studying history is actually what brought me into this level of consciousness, more so than studying religion. You know, when I knew the greatness of my ancestors, and I seen that they built the world as we see it.
Right.
I mean, that was amazing to me. So when I knew I was connected to that kind of intelligence, I was overwhelmed. You know.
Can I jump in real quick? For me, Carlotta, I understand exactly what you're saying. You know, how do you come back from that? And one thing he touched on earlier, well, the brother that called earlier, is to know thyself. When you look at our history and our story, that little part of our story is minute to the thousands and thousands of years of history. And we all know the story of a diamond. We all know that diamond had to be broken down and created, and it becomes this beautiful diamond from a black charcoal rock into a beautiful diamond. You know how this works, how your mind works, how to create your reality. Like he said, nothing and no one can change that. But the key to it is really starting to tap into yourself. What they did during slavery to our people that was worse than anything that's happened to anyone else was the psychological warfare that took place, the psychological damage, which is all dealing with your mind, the mental imprisonment. So now, yes, you were physically in bondage, but it was the mental things. It was the turning the brothers against the brothers and the sisters against the sisters, the light skin against the dark skin. All of that is what we have the power to change. We have that within ourselves to say that we'll no longer be those kind of slaves ever again. We can no longer go back to that. So when you become awakened, that's a really part of awakening. It's like the really breaking from slavery, because our slumber is a mental slavery. It's mental slavery.
Okay, I got to interject right now. I got to intervene. We're getting callers, and then they're hanging up. And we're going to touch on those things, though, Carlotta. And that's a very good topic. But right now, we kind of want to stay on point. And what it is, tonight, we're going to discuss the very beginning stages on what people can do to come into this awareness and this awakening of consciousness.
Okay, well, thank you.
Again, Carlotta, we appreciate you calling. I mean, please call us back. You know, if you want to call back later during the show, we really appreciate you. I mean, you know, bless up. I mean, I really, really appreciate you. I can't even express it enough. Okay, well, we had a caller. We had a caller with the last four of 6011. Caller, if you're out there and you're listening, give us a call back. You know, this is our first show, and we're really trying to get it done. I mean, I'm very, very pleased tonight. We are getting callers. But, caller with the last four of 6011. If you just call the Super Conscious Outlet, call us back and come on in the air and listen to us and see what we're about. You know, as we continue, Sister Goddess, Prashana, we're we're gonna take another call right now. We got a caller right now, 8977. 8977, you're in the queue. Welcome to the Conscious Outlet.
Yeah, peace.
Peace.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you good.
I wanted to express this about consciousness, what I'm going through right now, and see if y'all can kind of relate to what I'm saying. In my individual human evolution, I got to the point where if I'm not practically helping somebody, I don't feel like I'm conscious. What I mean by practical is that what I'm dealing with right now is individuals in maximum security prison. And I'm trying to get them to focus on their emotions and be in tune with their emotions. Don't be afraid of their emotions. Because it's an environment where you're not really taught to control your emotions, connect with your emotions, and express your emotions. Now, we're talking about a world where basically you live in an unnatural world. Maximum security prison. It's unnatural. So my thing is this. When you talk about consciousness in an environment like that, wouldn't it be safe to say that not to, how can I express this? Not to run from the pain, but to understand that the pain is real, but look at the pain in the sense of balance. What I mean by balance is that being aware that you don't want to ignore the pain, but you want to have a balance to the sense where you're improving yourself in that environment. But you don't want to forget about that pain.
Allow me to interject right there. Now, we're all gonna deal with pain, like you said, because pain to us teaches us, because it is a natural part of the process to becoming aware. Because now it's just like this: if you didn't feel something, if you were a child, you wouldn't touch the hot stove. Now we know heat will damage the physical flesh. So if you didn't feel something when you touched that pain, if you didn't feel pain when you touched that, then there would be nothing to keep you from doing it. But to answer your question, the pain is all a part of the process, because sooner or later, one should never run from their emotions, but we need to understand that this whole process is a developmental process. So you're going to have times where you're going to struggle with certain things, and this is why we have others around us. This is why I seek like minds, because if I'm dealing with an issue, I can't call someone that's unaware. So right now, I've developed a way to attract people in the conscious community that can actually help me. Brother, what was your name, by the way?
Khalil.
Khalil?
Yeah, Khalil.
Khalil, listen. We got another caller in the queue, and a lot of people, are getting antsy. This is our first show. But Khalil, I thank you. Look me up on Facebook, brother. Look me up on Facebook. My name is Roderick Jerro. That's Roderick. Jerro is the last name. Send me a friend request. I will give you my phone number, and we will chop this up. We will study together, and we will build together, because this is the whole purpose of this show, is to bring collective minds together, and those that want to become a part of this on their own desire, and to build and become enlightened and live as I truly know that we were created and intended to live in that fashion. So thank you, Khalil, brother.
Thank you too, brother.
Peace be to you, brother. Peace be around you at all times. And we take this next caller, which is the last four, 6551. Caller 6551. You're on the Super Conscious Outlet.
What it do, Brother Rod? What it do? Hotep King.
Hotep. This sounds like my brother God Martin. Brown. Am I mistaken? Is this Brother Martin Brown?
Nah, you're not mistaken. That's who this is. To the last caller. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna step out and do the same thing Brother Rod has done. Look me up on Facebook, Martin MB Brown. So my name is pretty simple. Martin, MARTIN MBEE Brown and brothers that send me a friend request, and we'll help you along through the process. By all means, we all here to help and to pull one another up. I mean, so great show, Brother Rod. I listened in a little bit, but I already knew what the topic was, so I just dove right on in. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Here's the thing. Like I said, this is not to put anybody down or to put anybody on any type of pedestal. You are where you are, Martin, because of your study, because of your desire to know, and because just simply your innate ability. You knew that something wasn't right with what everybody was telling you or what you've been indoctrinated with. I mean, no one had to bang you over the head to tell you that. You knew that. You know what I mean? And you were conscious enough. See, that takes you enough conscious on that level to even recognize, hey, you know what? I need to explore. Something's not right about this. You know. So the whole thing is,
know that, Brother Rod. They push it to the side. Like my coworker last night. I'm gonna give you a great example and then tell you what the brother told me. Like, you know, like I seen him bring his Bible in the truck, and I told him, I said, "You're a man of faith." I said, "That's a good thing." I said, "But if you want to go beyond it and learn the truth, because none of us don't know any history pre-slavery or pre-biblical text or term," and he was like, "You right about that." So, you know, I left him alone through the whole shift, but he heard me and Lamar talking on the phone. But Lamar called me before we was about to get off, and me and Lamar was chopping up about different things, so he started getting inquired. So I said, "Brother, all I'm gonna tell you is, no person in that Bible ever lived one day." So then he say, "Well, why does Isaac and Rebecca got a tomb?" I said, "Brother, be careful what they tell you, because they've always been telling us a whole bunch of lies." I say, "So if you tell a lie, naturally you're gonna try to cover it up." I say, "Do your history." Then, you know, I start quizzing him on little stuff. Naturally, he couldn't answer. And,
right.
You know, he thought Constantine. I asked him who Constantine was. He said Constantine was an angel. And I say, "Man, where you read that in?"
Right.
You know,
you see, Martin,
that's not in the Bible.
You know, not again, not to downplay anybody. But this is why we surround ourselves. You know, like me and the sister Koshana, the sister Goddess. We surround ourselves with positive people.
Yeah, sister.
You hear him, Koshana? Koshana. Martin.
We might have lost her. I'm still here.
She. Yeah, I dropped her. Listen, Martin. I got another caller right now. You know, we're gonna talk. And I want to talk to you after the show because I'm gonna want your feedback. But we're gonna talk.
No problem. It's all love, brothers. All love. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, caller right now with the last four of 2579. 2579. You're on the Super Conscious Outlet. Talk to me.
Peace. This is AJ Diesel.
Hey Jay, what's up, Queen Goddess? How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Oh man, I'm excellent as always.
I just called in just as a more newly awakened person, newly conscious person. It was just a good topic. I had been listening, but I know a lot of people have been awakened for a long time, and sometimes for a newly awakened person, it all sounds confusing listening to them. So, just from a newly awakened standpoint, the things that I went through, it was similar to the things that Goddess Koshana was saying. Just you had this. I've always been a person that questioned everything, but being raised as a Baptist Christian, you know, I was taught not to question everything. My family has always been religious, but as my mom got older, she got more and more religious. As I got about 15, 16, 17, you know, when I was going through most of the things. Excuse me. In my family home, in my last years of living at home, just got too unbearable to live in. Like it was mental torture to me to live at my home. And so, just 2012 was a rough year for me, and I had more of the questions, and I went through months of being paranoid, and looking back at it now, that was me awakening my own set of symptoms, but I just was in a rough place and questioning everything and wondering, and like I heard someone say earlier, learning about my history first was the beginning of my awakening, learning about history of African people.
Right.
Because I've always been interested in that. So to learn from there first and to learn that. I'm sorry.
AJ, excuse me, allow me to interrupt because I just want to touch on it, give you some feedback on your questions and your statement, and also I want to let the Queen Goddess, Koshana, answer you as well. But real quick, again, like I was telling Brother Martin, this is why we surround ourselves with positive people, whether it be friends, family members, because negative people will continuously focus on the bad, and pretty much they're unsupportive. And they only reinforce negative thinking habits. So what we want to do is we want to touch on, people that can uplift us and build us. And believe me, when I tell you, no story is so unique that no one can relate to it. This is the whole thing. Because there's only one consciousness. We all come from one place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So these things about developing an attitude of hate and things like that, and that's from the world. Those are people. You have to realize you have people in here that are the totally opposite because they know what these abilities do, and they take them and they use them for selfish gain. So, I mean, if you have any feedback for the Sister Goddess, Sister Koshana, I believe we may have another caller in the queue.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just real quick, Sister Adrienne, like you said, it starts when you start to realize that, things are going crazy and you start reaching out to people who are aware. And like you said, we are conscious, and there's several people now we are starting to attract people that are like us. Remember this old saying, opposites attract? Things have shifted to like attracts like, and are surrounding ourselves now with people who are positive, because that will maintain your vibration, especially if you're new to consciousness. You don't have time out for negativity. You don't have time for that. You have to surround yourself with people who are going to constantly feed that positive energy to you, who can see for you what you can't even see for yourself at times.
Right.
And thank you so much just for calling in. I appreciate you so much, dear. I love you.
Thank you all.
You're welcome, Mama.
Thank you, AJ. I mean, keep doing it. I mean, like I said, you have my number. I'm out there. We're in a couple of groups together, so anytime. But as we around, I guess, the halfway point, wow. I mean, I've never spent an hour so good, so quick. I mean, that's really been an opportune hour, I must say. But as we do that, people, for all the listeners and everybody that's out there on the group, I mean, you can contact us, or you can listen in. The number again is 646-787-8180. Again, the number is 646-787-8180. You can also contact us via web. There is also a chat room in that, and that's at www.blogtalkradio.com/Universal Radio 2. Again, real quick, www.blogtalkradio.com, Universal Radio 2. So we're pretty much, we've got a couple of minutes. We're going to be approaching the halfway point. People, this is our first show. Bear with us. It's going to get deeper, but we really just want to bring to you the first steps to becoming awake. So, as we go into a break, and then we're going to come back, we're going to return, myself, Roderick Gerald, and my beautiful co-host, Miss Koshana Quayle Jones. We're going to go into this a little bit deeper. And people feel free to call in. There's no wrong or right, in my world at least. It just is. So, I mean, let's lose the shyness. And if we're going to build and become a part of this oneness that I'm speaking of, then come on in and share your thoughts, because we all have something to add. There's nothing taken away from us. It's all in addition right now. So, I mean, call in and welcome us. And I guess we got about 2 minutes, Koshana. So we're gonna just chop it up for a couple of minutes. I mean, let me ask you a question, Koshana. What was it like? I mean, like when you start to really meet other people and listen to other people speak, what was it like for you? We got about a minute before we go into the halfway point. So just touch on that real quick for that.
Oh, wow. When I started to meet others, that was the life-changing experience for me. Learning that I wasn't alone. Now, that's the first thing when we start to wake up, we feel so lonely. we feel like, okay, I must be crazy and the whole world, no one gets me. You know, your family starts to ostracize you. People start to want to throw you in hospitals and stuff like that. So for me, it was amazing to meet other people who have experienced what I've experienced or can see the world the way I see it. And I have to be around that. I know in the beginning of your going through your ascension process or your shifting, you need things that will sustain that energy for you, because it's easy to go back into doubt and fear and worry. So you need others around you that confirm for you, no, this is it. That's one of the reasons why I started the Global African Family Awakening on Facebook, was because we needed a confirmation for each other. No, this is really happening. You know,
right.
It's not only happening to you, Roderick, it's happening to me too. So anytime you might get doubt, you know, or your thoughts are starting to play with you, you can go, wait a minute, well, if it's not true, then why is Quay Lee going through it? And why is Brother Damon saying it's happening to him? And, you know, so we are, like you said, we're one. We are one. You think you can go at it alone, but you need each other.
And when we come back, we're gonna go into that. First of all, I just want to just compliment you on air, Koshana. You are doing an excellent job. I mean, I hope I'm doing it as well as I
You are amazing.
I intend to be. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead, take a break. You know, listen, check out this next song that we got playing. You know, and the music we're playing tonight. It's just to give you a feel of consciousness. And it's not that we're into one type of music or anything like that. People, this is no set rules or regulations to what we're doing here. We're really about life and expanding life and being aware. Okay, people, welcome back to the Super Conscious Outlet. We have a caller right now. I'm Roderick Joe with my beautiful co-host, Miss Koshana Quay Jones. I understand we have a caller. Go ahead and welcome that caller, Koshana.
Our next caller is Success Goddess Money. Welcome, Success Goddess Money.
Thank you. Hello, kings and queens. How are you?
Hello.
I'm so happy and enjoying this evening. How are you, sis?
I am so happy for you. You know I had to call in. And so very proud of you. I'm so happy that you guys have this on a platform where so many people can reach it and accessible, because, you know, I love your teachings.
Aw, thanks. I love you for that. Thank you.
That's really nice.
But the one thing that I want to, this is my family. I know a lot of people are not as blessed to have conscious people in their family, but we were so lucky to have direct
each other
to share this energy, this information with. So that's a one blessing. But even before, I know when you were going through your awakening, and we didn't live close together, and I felt alone, but I always had God. So that's what I want to say. Is like I asked God to show me. I asked the energy. That became my very best friend and took me through everything that I had to go through. A lot of people are already connected to that spiritually, whether it be religiously or however they are directly connected to it, but they really need to embrace it as that's the one friend, that's the one person, that's the one energy that they need to show them what they need to see to get to the next level, wherever it is they want to be or however higher they want to go. So I just wanted to encourage those if they feel like they have no one around them.
If I could just touch on that real quick, Queen Goddess, is it money success or success money? How do I say
success that? Money.
Success money. Okay, and the thing about it, and I'm not here to correct anyone, but at the same time, I'm here to kind of keep us on the right track. And it's not that I'm a self-appointed expert, because I'll reiterate that throughout the show. I'm not, but however, that God that you were looking for, that was your higher self. That was your higher self. That voice that answered you, that was you. That was your higher self. You know what I mean? So I just want some callers, because I know everyone may not be on your level, but that was you, because that's what that is your consciousness. That is what we're talking about. That's that one consciousness that we all are a part of. You cannot hide from it. You cannot run from it. And this is why
it's always with you.
It's always with you. It's always with you.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but right now we have another caller calling in. This is our first show, but I want to be in contact with you, Queen Goddess.
Success.
If possible. Success. I mean, well, I will get it down. This is my first show, my first time speaking to you. But I would like to, introduce myself to you and talk to you, aside from the show as well as with, Koshana. And so,
she's one powerful goddess.
We do have another caller, so we're going to just kind of wrap this up. I want to thank you for calling in and bear with us as we go along. We're just going to do like life. We're going to get better and constantly evolve. But right now, I need to bring in the caller 7033. Last 4 7033.
Hello, King and Queen.
Hello.
Goddess.
This is Slim Jones, and I actually had a question. My question is, I feel like I've been conscious for some time now. When I get into the shower, and it only does it when I'm in water, I feel as if I'm like a giant. Like I feel like the space that I'm in is too small, and sometimes I don't like to use the term scared, but sometimes I get fearful, and so I'll make myself snap out of it. But if I close my eyes, it'll come back to me. What is that?
Well, I'm going to speak and I'll let Koshana answer as well. But what that is because water is the source of life, and we all originated from water. We all came here, and we exited, from the wombs of our mothers from water. You know what I mean? That's where you get the term, my water broke. So that lets the woman know, as my water breaks, now I'm ready to deliver this universe. I'm ready to bring another planet into our solar system. That's on a deeper note. But the water symbolizes life, and energy.
Right.
And what it is, and the reason why you said, you feel like a giant, because you lose shape in water, because water has no form. There's no way to contain it. You know what I mean? So that's probably, if you're conscious and you practice meditation and things like that, that's what that is. And that's symbolizing growth and expansion. And when you know that this is infinite. There is no limit to this. I mean, you can ascend to the highest level that you want to, and then the only place for you to go will be back within. You know what I mean? So, again, it's just something to reiterate the fact you never lose this. This is something that we have, and this is why I call it an awakening, not just me, but I also have mentors and teachers. And so this is why we come into this sense of awakening. And it's like the cartoon. I had one of my God Kings tell me the other day, it's like, just think about, the cartoon and the light bulb over the top of the head. And when it's illuminated, it just goes on, and you start to think. And when you understand, positive thinking, which is very, very more significant than thinking negatively, but we also have to maintain a realm of reality. And what I mean by reality is like, don't get into things where you become unrealistic, because everything that we have done, we have created, and it's relative to our existence, And so we want to kind of keep ourselves within those realms, you know what I mean? And as we build and expand and basically combine with more energy and more thought, then we start to realize that we can create our entire existence, you know what I'm saying, improving on what we're currently existing in. And now I'm going to go ahead and let Koshana go ahead and answer that too. What do you think?
When I hear you say that, Goddess, I have a couple things. One thing that I do whenever I'm experiencing something is first you ask yourself, if I understood what this meant, what would it mean to me? Because you have the answer to what you're experiencing within yourself. Second, I really suggest don't be afraid of yourself. I mean, one day we'll get into it on another show. We will talk about all the amazing experiences we have had when we shift consciousness and we become more aware of the power of water and the power of different things that are around us. And third, when I hear you, I felt like a giant. We are the giants. We've all been told you're the sleeping giant. So to me, it sounds like a part of your DNA is being activated. A part of your awareness is coming to you. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Experience it. I had a lot of experiences when I first started going through consciousness that I ran away from. I kind of shut it down. Okay, that's too much. I don't want to experience that. But embrace this experience. You are a spiritual being floating on a ball in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to fear. Tap into it. Okay? And I love you, Goddess.
You all. I love you all too, family.
Okay. Do you feel like that was sufficient for you? I mean, did you get anything out of what we both said? How do you feel about our responses?
I appreciate y'all's responses. Yes, I do feel like I got something out of it. Basically, like Sister Goddess Koshana said, I know what the answer is. It's just a matter of tapping into it, and I believe that I run from it because, like, listening to the show, I get everything that my family, everybody, when I come in, it's like, oh, hell, here she goes with this crazy mess. Right. And, so I don't talk about it to them because I don't like it's negativity. So I just say, stick to myself, and that's why I'm constantly trying to connect with you all, because I just feel like you all are actually my family, and I just happen to be connected with this human family for whatever reason. My mission is with them. Maybe my mission is to wake them up. I don't know yet, but I just have to tap into it and not be afraid.
Yeah, well, don't be afraid, because fear is something that we truly oppose, and we don't have to fight against it or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, to be fearful, let's just say it like this. Consciousness is real. It's as real as we are right now. And whatever we have done and retracting from our cosmic consciousness, just know there's all one source. So when you go into yourself and then you start to connect with others, then you realize that, the true meaning of family. Family is loyalty. Family is someone that supports you, someone that listens to you, someone that responds to you, not just to reply, but someone who has listened and replies from deep within themselves. It could be so easy for me to say, oh, okay, yeah, well, whatever this, and that. But when I listen to you and I take the time to answer you, even though it may seem like I'm doing it, in a rapid way, I'm doing that from my heart. Out of the first thing we can never lose is love. We have to understand that is also what we're created in, and not the emotion of love, but the fact of love. And love, as I define it, is to be a nurturer. And these are things we're going to go into as the show continues, and hopefully, we acquire a larger audience and we reach more people. But again, today, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and my co-host is where she's supposed to be. We came together in a defined manner, and so you are here because this is how it was designed. You know what I mean? It's a consciousness that's so real, and I just want to say I appreciate you again. If you're not my friend on Facebook, I think you may be. Yeah,
I am your friend, bro.
Exactly. So inbox me. You want to talk or whatever. We have a thing I'm trying to give it right now as to where we do a group study. The sister Shauna, she is very enlightened and immediately, light attracted light. You understand? And this is the thing, because I can see her shining from miles and miles away. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy. I so in agreement, because I can feel your light through the internet. Like, I can feel it on Facebook.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for calling.
And you can look me up too, Goddess.
Goddess, we are sisters already.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I love you. I love you. You know how much I love you.
Yes, I love you all too as well.
Everything is mutual, and again, that's why we're here. We're here for the ones that haven't found the courage to call and speak your voice. People, if I can just say something, I got the Goddess on the line. You have a voice for a reason. You have a voice for a reason. You have thoughts for a reason. Everything that's done and designed was done with a reason, purpose, and intention. So, you can remain shy. No one's going to ostracize you for your shyness, because once you come out of it, we're going to have a hard time quieting you up. I guarantee you. Because you're going to start discovering so much that you want to share. And this is why I have to interrupt some callers because, I mean, we're trying to keep it in the format of professionalism. And once you come into this, not that you're just going to talk, you're going to have something creative to say. And people, when I post things, simple things like, one-liners, creativity takes courage. I mean, you can sit here, you can be on the sidelines, or you can come get involved with life and start living, you know what I mean, and quit just existing. You know what I mean? I pay attention to my brothers and my kings, and I want them to know that. So as we exit, Goddess, Slim Jones, we thank you so much. I mean, continue to be a part of us, and believe me, I'm not going to reveal everything tonight in the first show, but I know what I'm doing. If you go back and you look at my post, and if you pay attention, one of my favorite words, you will see too. You will see where I have a purpose, and you have a purpose. And my purpose is kind of coexistent off of your purpose. Not that your purpose is going to interfere with mine and mine interfere with yours, but when we connect and build, now we're stronger. Just think about this in an image way. Imagine this imagery. We're building a pyramid. Somebody has to be the big blocks at the bottom, and then as we go up, we start to get smaller and smaller blocks. Every single stone fits into its place. So
that's funny
the
that
thing
you
about
use the.
Say that again.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's funny that you used the pyramid as an example because I actually had a dream that related to my shower experiences that was actually how we got the pyramids by being giants.
Wow.
You man, you really tapping into your mind, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Sisters, thank you so much for calling. And always feel free to call back. If we don't get no callers, we'll take your call. But I want to go back into, the beginning and the awakening process of this. So, I mean, again, I can't thank you enough. We really appreciate you. And we're going to get back to it. Me and the co-host, my sister, Kashana Jones, Kashana Quayle Jones, let me correct myself. And just thank you for calling.
Thank you all, and peace.
Thank you, sis. I love you. Bless.
I love you as well.
Blessings. Okay, Kashana. So, wow, I think that this is really going to be an effective format, for us to continue to enlighten as we continue our enlightenment too. Let's also always be mindful of self. I mean, you've taught that it's selfish. In all actuality, what we're doing right now is selfless. It's actually it's a journey to unbound itself, which is just selfless awareness. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want people just to embrace themselves, because before you can embrace me, you need to have embraced yourself. And before you can understand me, you need to start having some understanding of yourself. So if anybody tells you, you're like, well, listen, I'm taking some time out for me right now, that's the most important time you can take. It's time for you.
Right. I was just speaking on that not too long ago, learning self-love and really learning to love yourself. And what we're talking about with the first steps to awakening, that's actually one of the beginning, because we've always been taught to love outside of ourselves, and that it was wrong, almost arrogant or egotistical to love yourself. And that is the first thing that takes you out of tapping into your inner power, because you're looking outside of yourself for it. But once you start to love you and you fill your cup up, then you can just shine with love for everyone, and it's a genuine love. And you can love them because they are you. And you can see you in everything that they do, so then your love is so pure and real. So you do have to start with loving yourself, and you have to fill your cup up fully, and then share that love with everyone. And when I work with students, the first thing I tell them is go into your bathroom for about 10 minutes and look in the mirror and say, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And you will feel a tingle from your toes all the way up to the crown chakra, that your body starts to feel so loved, and you won't no longer feel energy from others, or you need their attention. Because that's where that comes from. When we seek that attention and we're starting to feel like, jealousy and envious and all those things, it comes from us not loving who we are. And so I agree with you 100%. You do. You have to start with loving yourself.
I mean, you're right. You're right, Goddess, because, you know, it's just like this. You know, getting back to the topic of the show, you know, first of all, we have to just, you know, go ahead and let's get this thing done. As the show continues, I'm getting relaxed and more of my higher self is ready to, you know, let the world know, look, this is who I am. This is not something that I practice, you know, a couple of days a week. I have a wife in the home, a 9-year-old, and they can tell you, I mean, we went, our prayer changed. I mean, now our prayer kind of changed. It's not so much as a prayer, but it's just speaking into the universe. So collectively, the three of us will speak into the universe. We will, you know, acknowledge the divine intelligence, which we call the creator in our household. And we say, listen, you know, today we are seeking to be enlightened. We are seeking to interact in a more intelligent manner. And, you know, I want people to understand I'm not free from the mishaps. I've been through enough that's brought me to where I am. So now I exist in pretty much a good place. And I want people to know that, you know, if you're in the beginning process, don't be in a rush, because once you get to a certain point, and I would just like to go personal for a minute, the point where I'm at, there's a lot of frustration involved. There's a lot of questions that you can only ask yourself, like, man, why don't they get it? I mean, why can't they see? I mean, what's wrong with them? And sometimes, you know, we have to humble ourselves because we have to reflect back and say, well, I wasn't always there. I wasn't always where I'm at now. So this gives us a little bit of, you know, empathy. Not that we're to be empathetic, but we get a visualization of the need to share, you know what I mean, with this person. So more so than empathy, we become compassionate, you know what I mean?
Compassion,
right. And so I just want to, you know, put it out there that, you know, becoming conscious, first of all, like the brother stated earlier, it really requires courage and an open mind. I mean, you have to have an open mind.
That's the key.
And I mean, go ahead.
What you just said was the key to it. Because when you become a light, you have to understand that others are going to be in the dark. You know, and you, like you said, when we see ourselves and other people is when we really tapped in. When you can see that another person is where you used to be, whether they're eating meat, whether they have, you know, whatever little things that we do. We don't want consciousness to become an egotistical label that we brand ourselves with and think we're above everyone else. It's not about that.
Let me interrupt you right there, Sister Goddess. With all due politeness, we do have a caller. I was so into my meditation, but we do have a caller. 1745 are the last four. 1745. Are you still there?
Absolutely. How y'all doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
Hotep, brother.
Yeah, Hotep. How you doing, Queen Goddess?
I'm doing.
Koshana Jones.
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Blacknificent to the 34th power. Enjoying this program, enjoying it, learning, inspired, enlightening, and this is an unbelievable opening of the blog radio, the super conscious, the first step to being awakened. I have a question. Can you give for our callers and for myself the distinction between being awake and being conscious? What is the distinction?
I can answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
For me, from what I understand, you know, many people, you know, become conscious and they burn incense, or, you know, they grow their hair in locks, or they start, you know, they leave the church, or they start to learn comedic science, different sciences. Being awake is not just intellectualizing it, but it's internalizing it. It's becoming it. It is being in a state of awareness at all times. So when you're awake, you are living, literally, truly living out that experience. You are being it. You are tapped into it. You're in a clear state of knowing. Consciousness, in the beginning, is just kind of becoming aware of it. You realize that it is real. and you experience it, and you have these moments where it's in there, and then you have moments where you're out of it. But once you become awake, you start to see the full puzzle of it all. You know that it's all working to better your good. You start to move away from judgment. You start to move away from attachment. You start to really, really live an experience where you are in tune with the oneness. You're in tune with the source that's within your being. You're in tune with that. You are literally expressing the God inside of you fully. You release even your fleshly personality. You release all of those things, and you become one with that. You really be it. When we're conscious, we become aware of it. You'll meet a lot of people that say, I'm conscious, and that'll mean, they listen to certain music and they burn incense and they burn candles and things like that, and that's beautiful, and I'm not at all saying that's a bad thing. That's wonderful. But when you become awake, you see it time. It's an experience that is always turned on for you, and you start to life starts to make sense to you. You see where everything is coming from. You're no longer confused on how it got here. You see how it got here. You kind of know everything before it even happens. You're 10 steps ahead of everything else, and it's a part of consciousness. Consciousness will lead you to awakening. Consciousness will take you there. But go ahead, guys.
No. Excuse me, one question. I'm sorry for one moment. What was your name, brother?
Grasshopper.
Grasshopper. Okay, Grasshopper. Let me just touch on it and not to interject, but we're trying to get the hang of people in a professional format. And let me answer that briefly to you too. Now, your original question was the ascension between awakening and becoming conscious. Am I
distinction?
Yes, the distinction.
Okay.
The
distinction
between consciousness and awakening, and being awake.
Right. Okay, so let me give my insight, because her insight was excellent. Also, it was correct. It was actually 100% absolute and correct. But it's always to get more than one insight, because this is the whole thing about sharing. Okay, so what I've noticed that in the beginning, like the starting point of becoming conscious, it requires courage, and commitment. Like she said, this is not something that you do and you partake in, and you don't make consciousness a religion. It's not a religion. I see a lot of brothers, and here's the thing: if something works for you, then that's fine. It works for you. I'm not an extremist. I'm a person. I enjoy the pleasures of life, and I've learned how to bring them into my. I just got a text from the chat room, so I'm gonna answer this question. I'm gonna get back to you right now, Grasshopper. So what I'm saying is to kind of wrap it up, because I need to answer this question. But what the thing is, when you start to distinguish between the two, pretty much every moment. Like, I'm at the point right now, and I don't know how many are at this point. I know of one other brother that I know. But when you become so conscious and you realize how internal it is, as the Queen Goddess stated, you can actually feel the blood pulsing through your veins, because that's how in tune your mind is. Everything about you, your personality, your attitude, your speech, comes from your mind. And these are the different levels of consciousness. So the first step between distinguishing it is when you just start to realize. And then, when it's right, you're not going to feel mad. You're not going to feel resentment. You're going to start to feel like a level of intelligence increasing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You want to live up. You want to become a person of integrity. And these are just the beginning steps. So these are things that will enable you to distinguish, between awakening and actually coming into a consciousness. That's just my point of view. I wanted to share that.
Right. Right. That is deep too, like you said, to be able to feel your blood moving and being that aware of yourself.
Right. Right. We have a question right now, Oshana. Here's a question that we're both going to answer. Grasshopper, you're welcome to stay on the phone. If we get another caller, we'll probably have to take you off the queue. But for right now, we don't have any other callers.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah, so you can just stay on there in case you want to reply. You know what I mean? You can just come in as well. If we get another caller, we'll probably take you out of the queue to let that caller come in. But so, Shauna, here's a question to us: are there any signs that show one is becoming awake? What's your take on that?
Are there any signs that show one is becoming? There are several for me. I'll say about what I'm experiencing with a sister right now. My mother-in-law, who she's a Christian, she's on a church. She's starting to go. I'm just question things, and I feel like there's something that when you start to really question and you start to become aware that there is something else going on around you that you may not be able to explain or you may not be able to express it, but you feel it. You start to have these moments like the sister earlier called in and said, I get in the water and I feel like this. These experiences are real and they're happening because your consciousness is shifting. So you're starting to become more aware of things. For me, I remember like I said, I was raised in a religious background. I have a very strong religious background. But I started walking around one day and I started saying, someone's coming to teach me. And I had no idea who that person was. But I would just start to say these things, these crazy things. And before I knew it, I had a teacher show up who was teaching me metaphysics. So you start to question and you start to say things that at the time you may not understand why you're saying it. But later on in life, you start to put that piece, that puzzle back together and you go, wow, all of it was a part of me waking up. The reason why I felt that way and another thing that, like you were talking about earlier about the courage, is that things start to go a little crazy around you. Things start to look a little odd. My life flipped inside out, and that's what made me really seek answers for life. So, for me, there are for sure signs to let you know that you're starting to wake up. There are signs in all kind of ways. You'll start to have dreams. You'll start to say things that don't make sense to anyone else, but they make sense to you. And I think you touched on something earlier, Brother God, about becoming that child again and remembering what it is like to be like a child. We've covered up our higher self as a child. When we were a kid, we were goofy and we had dreams and aspirations. We used to plan on being on Mars, and one day I'm going to fly an astronaut, and I'm going to fly a plane. And we used to have these wild, and then we started to think, oh, people would laugh at me, so I can't tell them about that. Or people, that part of you that you buried away, that secret self, is the self that you're trying to get back to. So when you start to see that self emerge again, when you start to see that self emerge again, that is you becoming conscious again. That is when your child, you start to feel that come up again where you can't hide it anymore. You just take your mask off and you're ready to be you. That is the steps to becoming conscious. You go ahead, Brother God. You answer that.
Yeah, when I answer that, you know what? I used to just sit and think to myself, I used to imagine the bigger picture. And I would think about all the things I heard about how great this God was, this God outside of myself. And then I used to think, like the things that I did as a child, the creativity that I had, where did I get it from? It didn't come from my mom. My mom was, a very, very nice woman, not formally educated on a high level, when I say that, meaning, the world, the schooling of our society. But she had a lot of wisdom. My father, on the other hand, was a college military man and had a family, and I seen religion just sidetrack this man's whole personality, his whole mindset, where he went from being a fun, jokingly, a loving man. He kind of indulged in alcohol on the weekend, and he was fun and he was stern until when he became this Christian, he was like he was trying to buy his way somewhere. You know what I mean? So when I go back to the question, and the question was, are there signs? Yeah, you start to just wonder. That's the first sign that it's just kind of natural. You start to wonder, like, wait a minute, what's to this? So you mean to tell me I'm supposed to come here, get a job, work the job for 35, 40 years, the same job, and die? Really?
Right.
That's all life is? I mean, that's it? Well, I mean, this whole big old world, some people never leave their community. I mean, I know generations of families that have just died in the project. I mean, they just, generation after generation. And that's what happens. We've become reproducers. So to answer the question, yes, there are several signs. And the one sign is, like you said, the beginning of questioning. That's the first sign you're going to have in becoming conscious, Right. So I hope we answered that for the person who asked that question pretty good. But let's continue, Koshana. Let's continue with some steps that people can take, like on a personal level. When you start seeking like your enlightenment, what did you do? I mean, like I understand, because I talk to you, so you're not really answering it for me, but we're sharing with the listeners. What are some of the things that really stood out? I mean, you question things, you start noticing how people were rejecting you because it wasn't them rejecting you, it was you repelling negativity. See, that's the thing about it. When you start coming into this, you automatically start to come into a sense of positivity. And so what happens is you start to repel negativity. So these people and attitude, they no longer go with you, because as long as you're in a negative mindset, as long as it's like, oh man, how I'm gonna pay the bills next week? Oh, I'm so stressed. And I mean, these are words that don't even exist in my world. I mean, like, did you when you understand that you're a co-creator and you start to really, seek and know, you become enlightened. That's the whole thing. It's like, the illumination process starts to take place within you, which enables us to see things on a larger scale. You know what I mean? The bigger picture, so to speak, And so, like I said, what is something you did or you realized when you really start realizing, like, your power and your potential? I mean, potential has to come before the power. What are some of the things you experienced?
First, I like to say meditation. I remember I read a book. I was reading a few books when I was starting to go through my awakening, and one book was talking about meditating. Meditating, and I had never meditated before, and I didn't understand what it was. And, a lot of people were like, "Still for 10 minutes," and what is going to happen? I think meditation, honestly, is like opening Pandora's box. It is really where you tap in at. When you start to turn off the outside reality and go on the inside of you and go into the inner realms, that's when you start to really activate your power. So for me in the beginning, I began to meditate, and I think that triggered my awakening. I believe that it actually was the thing that kind of started
Sister Goddess, I have to, and I don't want. We're gonna get back to that, but I have to bring this caller in. Because this young man, this next caller I'm about to bring in is the man who is partially responsible for me being here today. And I need to welcome right now the brother, Jay Allen. Jay Allen, are you on the air with us? Are you there?
Oh, man. That was a great introduction right there, man. I appreciate it. I don't know what to say. Hey, but no, man, I'm smiling ear to ear right now, man. You guys are doing a great job. And I mean, man, this is wonderful. But I just wanted to share with the people, as far as my awakening and just coming into consciousness, it was just like, a lot of things, like you said, a lot of things don't make sense to you. And then, my teacher, she was hitting me with so much information, and this stuff was just making so much sense. It was very logical to me,
Right.
And and I just kind of put the pieces together. And it's like if one would look with an open mind, it's very easy to piece this stuff together. You know what I mean? If you just take that time out and you just kind of just focus, like you said, meditation and things like that, then it's very easy to put the pieces together. And I want to say this as well, like, when I became conscious, even a little bit before I became conscious, when I started waking up and stuff, a lot of things that used to matter to me just didn't matter anymore, As far as, watching the television,
right,
sports, whatever. It just, all of these things didn't really mean anything to me, and it's, I mean, even the stress of certain things where we talk about bills and we talk about just all this type of stuff, it just was kind of meaningless. Now, I'm not telling anybody out there not to pay your bills. I'm not saying that because we do live in this matrix. You know what I'm saying? But as far as, the way that you handle that stress is just totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
you know what, Jay Allen?
What's up?
You know what, not to cut you off, brother, but just to intervene on that. So basically, because a lot of us, like you'll see me speak about change. And the change I'm speaking of is your conditions that you're existing in. I'm not telling you to become someone else. And I think that a lot of people kind of misinterpret what I'm saying. Like when I say change, I'm saying you became awake. So the only change is now you're not existing like you did. Now you're actually living. So the change that I speak of kind of relates just to the awakening. I mean, for example, like this. I mean, when you become more conscious, I mean, like hanging out with the boys, it's not that important. But it still has a level of importance. But it's not a priority in life because now, if your boys are not trying to be on this mindset, you start questioning yourself, like, what do we really have in common? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why am I hanging with these guys? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is the whole thing. And it's like I share with the both of you. I mean, I know why you're here today. Not that I'm above you. Again, I want people to understand that in its entirety. But I attracted you. When I started realizing the power in my mind, I said, listen, I need some more like mine. And now how do I have confirmation? Because I am speaking to Jay Allen Greer right now. The man behind Black Sea Light. You know what I mean? Man. The man who has a hand in Universal Radio 2, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be mentioning, all of my fellow guys and goddesses. But you know what, Jay Allen, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do have to keep this a professional format. If you don't like it, you created it. So this is your doing. I have another caller in the queue. Brother, we love you. We love you. Thank you so much.
Man, I love you guys too, man. Y'all doing a great job, man.
You can call back, at all times. But I just want to take this other caller and allow her to speak as well. But Jay Allen, salute. You know what I'm saying? My brother, God, right there, y'all. Just for all the listeners that know, that's my brother right there. That's my brother.
That's right.
Okay? I want y'all to know that. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead, and we're going to take this next caller. Bless up. And we got Liz, I think. We're going to bring Liz in with us and see what we can do.
How you doing?
Liz, are you there?
Hotep. I'm there. How you doing,
Hotep?
Hotep.
How are you?
Hey, how you doing? This is a great show. I just tuned in a few minutes ago. I was trying to hurry up and get home so I could catch it, but what Jay Allen just said was totally on point. I would just like to say that when I awakened, it was because you know how like when you're doing all the believing and you're the one that has to do all the work and you're the one that has to put all of this into this religion stuff. You sit back and when you go within yourself, you're asking your question, well, who is it that's doing everything for me? And that's when I woke up. It was like I found, I was like, well, hold up. I said, so if something bad happens to me, that's because of me. And if something good happens for me, it's because of me too. And that was my first, that was my journey through awakening. And the one thing that I learned is that when you're on the process of doing that, never go to someone that is of a religion to ask them what it is that you need to do, or because they're going to steer you right back into that direction. Yeah, and confuse you all over again, especially when you have no one else to turn to because everyone is around you. It's part of a religion or whatever. And it's scary at first only because you're not used to doing your own thing and thinking on your own.
For yourself,
and I can honestly say that. Yeah. So mine was scary, but then at the same time, I joined We the People, and I think that was my transition into just fully awakening because I met Martin and Lamar and Jay Allen, and I just started studying with these brothers, and I started listening to them, and I was like, oh, my God, that is real. It is just about you. You know what I'm saying? Everything is about you, about self. So I can honestly say I'm glad that I'm awakened, and there is no way I'm going to go back to sleep. Hotel.
Well,
if I can just add to that, Liz, there's no way, even if you wanted to, you couldn't, because that's what happens. Consciousness expands the mind, and it will never take its original shape. I mean, even if you start to act and do things outside of yourself, your mind is still expanding. So, you know what? I just want to thank you for calling. First of all, it's been a pleasure meeting you, sharing the knowledge that I share with you all. And again, this is another sister that I've brought into my experience. I mean, I understand that when I bring people into my experience, because you only come by invitation. I mean, you only come by acceptance. So the acknowledgement of each other is why we're coexisting right now as a unit, why we're aware of each other, is because we put effort into knowing each other. We put effort into listening to each other. So Liz, you know what? Thank you so much for calling. And
thank you,
I really
guys.
appreciate your insight. Keep doing what you're doing, and you know, as always, you know, let's build. I know you guys see a change in me tonight than you do when I call in on your shows and different things like that. And it's because I'm at home. You know, I'm relaxed. I'm not on my vacation right now. I'm taking it seriously. When I'm out, you know, doing my job, that's my vacation. So I'm just here. You know what I mean? Letting us know that, you know, in the whole prospect of building, we have to maintain this consciousness daily.
Yes.
Daily. This is not something you can do part-time, people. This is something that you must seek daily. You know what I mean? So, Liz, I mean, thank you again for calling, and we appreciate you calling, sweetie. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Hotep.
Hotep. I wanted to comment on what Liz just said, if that's okay.
No, that's fine.
I love what she said, and I experienced the same thing that she said. When you're going through it, you want to go through, you run to someone who's religious and they steer you in the wrong direction. When I first started, I started having visions. I mean, real visions. They were happening almost every day, and I would have a dream that night, and the next it would happen. And it started happening back to back. That's why I was telling the sister earlier, don't send it away because this is too much for me. And it was happening back to back. So I went to a few friends of mine, and they were a religious background, and I was telling them, you know, because I was young and I was looking for the answer. The first thing they told me was,
You're breaking up, Koshana. Are you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me good?
Hear you clear, crystal clear.
Okay, cool. What I was saying was when I started talking to religious about my visions, the first thing they told me was God doesn't give you gifts like that anymore. And it really confused me being young. You know,
wait a minute. Who told you that? I'm sorry. I got to interrupt. I'm going to let you finish. But who told you that? So, I mean.
They were Jehovah Witnesses, not to throw anyone's religion out there, but they were Jehovah Witnesses, and I was looking for the answers. Like she was stating earlier, you know, don't run to religious people, and I'm not knocking them, but understand that they're still indoctrinated. And they're not, they haven't tapped into that. So I went there first to try to find the answers to what was happening. And that's the first thing they told me. God doesn't give you gifts like that anymore. And I'm like, wow.
That's totally ludicrous. And that's the thing about it, people. We're not knocking your religion, not on this show anyway, but we do have shows that will discuss your religion. The brother Jay Allen, he does those topics on his shows. I'm going to give you the times and days that you can catch that on his show. But what I want to tell you is, we're just calling religion out. We're just calling religion out because, you know, we've had these debates and discussions, and, you know, people will not even stand by what they believe. I will never be anything but conscious because conscious is who I am. And before we get too far, you know, carried away, as we're coming to the end of our show, you know, we're down to the final minutes. I mean, this has been an amazing. I want to thank you, my co-host. You know what I'm saying, Koshana Freddie Jones. I want to thank all of the callers. You know, and if I don't mention you by name on this show, I will get around to mentioning everyone that's a part of the conscious community and who has been essential to my growth.
Yes.
What I do want to look at though, we kind of went a little off topic a little bit, and again, it's our part of being new. But I do want you guys to make sure that you tune in tomorrow, the same number, and I need you to listen to my sisters, Zamira and Tiffany, and they have a show also, and their show is going to be tomorrow topic. I'm looking right now. Let's see. Where are we at? Okay, give me a minute. Tomorrow we're going to be. Wow. Okay, give me a second. Oh yeah, tomorrow their topic is going to be children with special needs. So tomorrow tune in to the same thing, but I'm going to give shouts out to everyone in their show, for entering into the week. But I just want to look at this word real quick. As we're winding down, I want to look at the word consciousness. Okay, so there's many definitions. You know what I mean? And some things, have a specialized meaning and some don't. But the state of being conscious, awareness of one's own feelings, what is happening around you, etc. The totality of one's thoughts, feelings, and impressions of conscious mind. Okay? Let's also look at the word conscious. Having a feeling or knowledge of one's own sensations and feelings of or external things, aware, cognizant, able to feel and think in the normal waking state, aware of oneself and thinking, being, knowing what one is doing and why. Same as self-consciousness, accompanied by awareness, which is one thinking, doing, intentional, conscious, known to be felt by oneself, okay? That's also a form of consciousness. So people, as we're winding down, let me get back to business. I wanted to share with you that everyone was able to take something from this show, but we are winding down, and so we're going to start doing our shots out. So what we got going on, people, for the lineup for the remainder of the week. Again, we're going to tune in tomorrow with Tiffany and Ryder, and their show is going to be titled, Children with Special Needs. Monday, we have the Jay Allen Show hosted by Jay Allen and Nasir Shaheed, and that's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, we have You Must Learn hosted by Lamar and Martin. Again, that's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, we got the Any and Everything hosted by Jay Allen and Miss C, and we got my Delta boy, Taurus White. Also, again, we have me and Koshana on Saturdays, and so that's the lineup for the week, people. Hopefully, I gave it to you, appropriately. Bear with me. This is my first show, but check my boy out too, Devon Allen. Please, Reshape the People workout meal plan. Again, you can call him at 310-438-0154. Again, that's 310-438-0154. Okay, so check him out, Koshana. As we're ending this first show, I salute you, my queen goddess, my co-host, my builder, my orchestrator. You understand? I appreciate you. What you think? How we do?
I loved it, and I just loved everyone who called in, and I salute you. You did wonderfully. You gave a lot of information, very powerful, Brother God. And I salute all of our family because we are doing this together. We are confirmations to each other that the shift is occurring, and we are never going back. So I love everyone out there in the listening audience. I love you. I love our whole family. Give thanks for this opportunity. Ashe.
All right. Hey, listen, let's get out of here, people. Go ahead and tune in to us next week, and again, follow the lineup. And peace. Blessings be in you, around you, and may they surround you at all times. We're out.
We're out. Peace and blessings.
We could grow. We could develop.